Isn't that what you guys did the one time I didn't show up? You just went on anyway?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like when Leon shows up, everyone's like, we can't go on without him. If Austin doesn't show up, it's like, we got this.
Well, he's our I don't know, Leon's our crowd pleaser. He's the looks of the operation. No, wait, we've already discussed this.
Oh, wait, we were talking about Twilight?
Well, no. I mean, we talked previously in a past episode. I can't remember who was what, but we talked about, like, who was the brains, who was the brawn, and who was, like, the looks and things like that. But, yeah, one of our fans, one of our listeners, tweeted about us as Twilight.
I think clearly, Johnny, you're Bella, right?
Why am I Bella? Is it because I have no emotions? I am bereft of feelings?
Both me and Leon are fighting over you. You're the most desirable of this podcast.
That's the qualifying factor then? That's it? The only reason why I'm Bella is because other people are fighting over me?
I would assume. The question is, which one of us is the werewolf and which one of us is the vampire? Yeah, the thinker.
How often do you wear a shirt?
I would say most of the time.
Most of the time? Okay, let's, for the sake of argument here, propose that Leon wears a shirt maybe about 5% of the time. And when he does have a shirt on, it's for the express purposes of being able to take it off. I assume that's why Leon wears shirts, because he takes them off. That's probably what he's doing right now. He's probably somewhere exotic, taking his shirt off. Or just prancing around without one.
I wish there was a picture of that for the title card. Just him being like Baywatch, just shirtless on a beach somewhere.
There could be.
I'll ask him. I'll send him a message. we need a naked picture of you for the BG title card.
Access to Leon's family photos. Yeah.
See, what's funny is that wouldn't be the most disturbing thing we've ever used as a title card.
No, not really.
I was saying on someone I saw it from Holly's Twitter. Someone asked her like anonymously when she's going to fire us, and her answer was, "I'm not firing you, Austin." Like
she thought it was you.
Yeah, it really wasn't though. But that makes me really happy that interaction happened.
Yeah, no kidding. At least people are listening to the podcast. Because I think that's obviously a question we should all be asking at this point in time.
I've asked it multiple times on air. I have no idea why they're letting us do this.
There's got to be some reason. Maybe there's secretly like some kind of mental health works project.
This is also a like social experiment.
Yeah, and we've been, we managed placement or something like that. They're like, these guys really need to get something off their chest for about 60 to 90 minutes a week. So, or else, the Department of Homeland Security may get involved, or the Secret Service, or something like that, or CSIS, which is the Canadian equivalent.
It's all an undercover sting. They're just waiting for one of us to admit that we're like crazy psycho killer or something.
I'm gonna quickly tell an anecdote here about CSIS, about the Canadian Secret Intelligence Services. Many years ago, CSIS decided that they were going to plant an agent into one of Canada's foremost white supremacy groups, which I believe was called the Youth Heritage Front. So they managed to get a guy into the organization, and for many years he worked his way up the ladder until he was almost like the number 2 guy, right? And all of a sudden, the guy in charge of the Youth Heritage Front decides he's done with it, doesn't want to do it anymore, and hands the reins off to this intelligence officer, right? So naturally, back at, like, CSIS headquarters, they're like, holy shit, jackpot. We have access to all of the company's information, all their finances, like all of their mandates, their instructions, everything top to bottom. If we need evidence, we've got it. So they send him this congratulatory letter, and they got one message back from him, which was, all hail the Aryan nation.
So...
Yeah, he quit. He quit the Canadian Secret Intelligence Organization and went on to lead the Youth Heritage Front for what I believe was a number of years.
Did it have better benefits? Like, did he get dental or something?
I don't know. Maybe.
You don't need that in Canada, do you? Because everything's...
No, that is not true. Our dentistry is subsidized, but it's not completely free.
Okay. I was trying to make a joke, and then you're just bringing reality into this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's something that I do sometimes when, reality gets on top of me. As it has been doing for the past few weeks. Reality. It's a thing. Stay away from it.
I work on the internet. I have a very distant relationship with reality.
Very strong defenses against reality.
Yeah.
Come on, reality. Give me your best shot. Troll face.
Trollface.jpg. I hope Leon does show up, though, because there's a game I wanted to talk to him about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Is it a secret?
No, it's not a secret. It's just dumb, but it's the guy who made Mega Man.
Yeah.
There's a dating sim coming out featuring his fictional niece. Like, this is a woman who does not exist, but this is a real video game they made about Keiji Inafune's hypothetical niece. I don't know. Why not?
The weird thing is not that she's a fictional character. Because, games are riddled with fictional characters top to bottom.
Yeah. I feel like you're trying to find the words.
The weird thing is that I think all of it's weird.
Yeah, like you really boil it down to its essence right there.
And that's quite a feet. I think.
You're like, not a single word in that synopsis was not weird.
Yeah, because it's not weird to have a fictional character, especially in a video game. They're very fictional things, but somehow you managed to make that weird. Way to go, Inafune.
He didn't make it. They made it about his fiction. Someone else made it. Axis is publishing it. That's the company that did Zeroscape,
okay,
which I'm talking about.
So a bunch of other people invented a niece.
Yes.
That he doesn't have.
Yeah.
So you can, marry into the family?
No, here's the thing. It is a dating sim, in a sense. It's called Otome.
Yeah.
Can't pronounce it. But it's not just like she meets cute boys and goes on adventures. There's like a terrorism plot. Like she's at the Keiji Inafune theme park when I can't even do this. When terrorists take the place hostage, and they something. I think the dating pool is mainly consisting of like the bomb squad members. It's all in Japanese. It's really hard to make heads or tails of this. And the bad guy looks like a giant pig. Some of the guys are pretty hot though. I hit him.
Uh
huh. I'm just waiting for.
Then, yeah, I don't know what to say about that. That's yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, something just broke inside me there.
Something deep inside.
Something deep inside is not working the way it should currently. I don't know if I'll ever get it back again. I taste pennies. So you feeling all right? Because you were a bit out of sorts last week.
Since then that was the post Aliens Colonial Marines blues. Now I'm riding high on Revengeance. I'm all like jacked up.
You feeling good?
Feeling real good.
It's awesome.
I can't wait. I've been dying to talk about this all week because I have so many things to say and it's embargoed and no one knows. They need to know.
I want to know. You need to tell me. I have to know. Your audience awaits.
Okay.
I guess for the moment is me, but
I'll tell you when we do to what we're playing because by the time this goes up, embargo will have lifted, so we can send this conversation through time to when it is not illegal to talk about it.
That's neat. When does embargo lift? Midnight tonight, I'm presuming.
Midnight in the Pacific, which is 3 a.m. my time.
Right.
So 6 hours from now.
Yeah, that's about right.
It's so crazy because right now, if someone listened to this, I would be in trouble. But when they listen to it, I won't. It's time travel. Like we are chrono triggering this podcast.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, in a way. But in other ways, it's kind of lame.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean it's fine. I'll take it. It's the best time travel I can get. But if I honestly believe that if time travel became like a thing, it'd be like hot shit for a week. And then everybody would just use it to be like, oh, damn it, my steak is off. I'll just travel back to last week and use it then, Or they would use it to sleep in as well.
What I like to say about time travel is that we don't have time travels here, right? Like, if it's ever invented in the future, we would know about it by now.
Not
presumably.
necessarily. I mean, there are some theories floating around that it's like time travel will only be able to mess around in the area of time in which time travel becomes possible.
Maybe.
So if, like, you invent time travel, you will not be able to travel back in time previous to that point where time travel first is invented.
That kind of seems arbitrary. I just like to think that either we live in a timeline that isn't like canon anymore, like someone invented it eventually and changed it, and now that's the you know what I'm saying?
We're victims of retcon.
Yeah, like everyone likes to think that they live in the best possible universe, but I look around and I think maybe we are one that got changed. Someone went back in time and fixed what we are in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be possible.
What do you think? What do you think it was? Someone shot John Lennon.
I would imagine that it had to have been something Hitler related.
You think Hitler? You going right to Hitler?
I assume if you had time travel and you're like, I'm gonna fix something, it's either that or the PS Vita. There's the two big things you gotta kind of avert in history. Two big tragedies.
Yeah. We're going for it. Get your engines ready. You paid for the whole seat, but you're only going to need the edge. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Salad Talk. On this, a very important episode of Salad Talk, I, your host, Johnny Maloney, and my single solitary companion today, Austin Yorsky, are going to tackle one of the deepest questions that has plagued Salad Eat, nay, mankind, humanity as a whole, for decades, eons, centuries, epochs. And that question is macaroni salad indeed really salad? Austin, let's kick us off. Is macaroni salad really salad?
I'm actually really thinking about that question because, I mean, in a sense, what is the definition of salad? I always think of it as something that has a lot of lettuce or spinach in it, but I guess it could just be any collection of stuff. Really, I mean,
cold and slimy is those are your strict requirements for what defines a salad.
No, because then eels are salad.
Okay, all right.
Eels are not salad,
no,
Johnny.
Eels are not salad. If there's one lesson that we can walk away from this discussion learning, it's that eels indeed are not salad. But if macaroni salad is indeed salad, what qualities does it possess that makes it so?
It is a collection of stuff, like food objects, that have a sauce aspect, like dressing, I guess.
You mean mayonnaise?
I don't know how to make I'm sure there's different kinds of macaroni salad. They're not all just mayonnaise.
Yeah, they are.
If you say so, I guess you just redefined.
I'm pretty sure it's mayonnaise.
I'm sure it contains mayonnaise, but it has other things.
All right, so food item having a dressing or sauce.
Yeah.
Are these defining factors?
Not only. I'm trying to think. You know what? I'm just gonna Google salad and see what the definition of salad is.
The dictionary definition of salad is.
Yeah, we're gonna settle this. It is a category of dish which basic ingredient is usually raw vegetables, often served with a sauce or dressing. So I was half right.
By that definition, then, macaroni salad falls short.
It would appear so.
Unless we redefine macaroni to be part of the vegetable family.
Third cousin twice removed.
Which I have real trouble doing. I mean, that's eat your vegetables, dear, but I hate macaroni.
I mean, macaroni, that's it's from a... God, my brain is just falling apart. It's you make it from a dough, which comes from, wheat.
No, everybody knows that you make it by sticking a feather in your cap.
Oh, that took me a second, yeah. That's a song.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, technically pasta is from a...
Grain. It's a grain. Wheat is not a vegetable, though.
Okay, fine. I mean, it's okay. I just looked it up. It's a grain. Technically, grains are grass because they're cereal. So I mean, grass is a plant.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it a vegetable. Because fruit are also plants, and they are not vegetables, Austin.
I'm saying we could stretch this. What are we talking about?
I don't know. This is what happens when Leon's not here.
I just realized you were earnestly talking about that. Like, I genuinely forgot we were recording for a second there, and I was just talking about salad.
No, I'm sorry. It's on the record now. I have it. It's written down right here. You went and Googled the definition of salad, Austin. That happened. We did that. We did that together. We are accomplices in this travesty of video game podcasting.
Where's Leon?
For dedicated listeners, you may notice that we're running a man short today. Esteemed colleague, brilliant film commentator, and stellar swimsuit model, Mr. Leon Thomas, is not with us today for reasons unknown.
I heard he was injured. He was trying to do the full Leon, and he pulled something.
He pulled something in the full Leon.
Yeah.
I kept warning you guys last week. The full Leon needs like full harness support, suspension. You need someone to spot you when performing full Leon.
It's not an amateur sex position. You got to limber up, okay?
Yeah. Lots of oil, lots of stretching.
Yeah, you can't just do it spontaneously. It needs preparation. You got to find someone that you trust. It's like autoerotic asphyxiation. You can't do that shit, David Carradine, alone in the closet.
You got to ease into the full Leon.
And you got to get proper pyrotechnic experts need to be involved. You can't just do it yourself.
There's no substitute for safety, kids. Always be safe.
Goggles.
Yeah. Safety goggles. The appropriate fire retardant clothing materials.
Seriously though, no, he quit Channel Awesome. He's a goat herder now. So
that's what you think it is? He's in a yurt somewhere.
Yurt is a great word.
It is a fantastic word. It's one of those words that sounds almost exactly like what I conjure up in my head. Like if I was going to see a yurt in real life and I didn't know the word yurt, it was like, what would you call that? I'd be like, that's a yurt.
Yeah. I think we had this conversation before about the word burly.
Yeah, burly too.
Burly's great.
I think that Leon is moonlighting currently as a sassy black woman at a hair place.
Wait, isn't he bald? What does he know about hair?
Only everything.
It's his passion because he really appreciates it.
It's his Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You know, when he gets worked up enough, the hair, the curly, voluminous, luxurious hair starts to sprout out of his head, and he becomes Dynasty.
I have no idea who we're offending, but I'm assuming that offended someone.
Probably. For which I apologize. I'm not really going after anyone here, but I mean...
I was waiting for you to have to make like a sobbing apology about the Catholic jokes last week, but no one called you on it.
Nobody called me on the Catholic jokes last week. I am increasingly astounded and amazed by the levels of sensitivity that our listener base maintains.
I assume we weeded out all the pansies like in the first couple episodes.
Probably. I mean, we did get the Cheesicost out of the way, like almost like right out of the gate, pretty much.
So the squeamish knew that what was up, like right out of the gate, and all that's left is the people who are our kind of people, and we love you.
But I still am like I absolutely reel at the fact that we got a lot of negative feedback from Your Mom the podcast.
It's a sensitive subject.
I wasn't even being disrespectful. I wasn't like, oh, Your Mom's such a podcast that it was like, no, Your Mom the podcast. Today on Your Mom the podcast, clean your room, eat your vegetables, and, you know, like, what? That's like mom stuff. Moms do that.
Johnny, let it go.
I will let it go. I'm gonna let it go, but
it's not your fault.
Yeah, you know, your mom.
Johnny, not your fault.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
We got to try to be less obscure. We're leaving people behind.
We are leaving people behind.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, assuming Leon might show up, who he could get back from the mountains anytime and show up to be podcasting. So you want to start with what we've been playing in case he shows up in time for the news?
I think his Leon sense is tingling as we speak. Wherever he is right now, I expect his ears to perk up, and he's all like, "Wait, something magical is happening."
I don't want to know about which parts of him are tingling.
All the good bits. Yeah, but why don't we start with what we're playing? I might as well start, if that's okay with you, because normally, when I talk about what I'm playing and when he talks about what he's playing, we have usually very little, to comment on each other's, because our tastes seldom converge.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like to ask questions. I do like to be educated. So if he shows up, I will continue to do that. But for the moment, we can pretend he's here and that he's peacefully listening to my calm, sedate, droning tone about what video games I've been playing this week. And I'll start simply by saying that I got to the twist in Aliens Colonial Marines.
You poor bastard.
What were
that, for clarification, that's what spelled W-U-T,
yeah.
right? What?
How do you justify something like that? Like making that decision?
Okay, I think the only way to talk about this is to go full spoiler. So are you still planning on playing Aliens Colonial Marines? You might want to skip ahead like 3 minutes because I think we're about to let this fucking game happen.
We're gonna drop the bomb here. Although you know what, the bomb pretty much drops in the fucking credits.
Oh, the opening video thing?
Well, yeah, like opening video, nothing. Like they when they start listing like the voice cast credits.
Oh yeah.
Like all the Ashley Birch and Lance Henriksen, and then like it's fucking like, and like special guest star, alarm bells ringing, Michael Biehn.
Yeah, I mean, you could assume that it was just because the message that he left, like the distress message.
Yeah, but I mean, who else are they gonna grab? Like, are they gonna slip like Bill Paxton in there? No. I mean, you're going to credit Michael Biehn and Lance Henriksen. You're not going to keep Bill Paxton a secret. So yeah, full-on spoilers here. I mean, if you haven't guessed already, it's even facetious to say that they bring him back, but Hicks is alive. Corporal Hicks just hanging out on LV-426, just being a dude. Huh?
So yeah, the explanation is that what they're essentially trying to do is retcon the beginning of Aliens 3 to say that he didn't die, and that Weyland-Yutani pulled him out of cryo, replaced his body with a clone, and then brought him for interrogation, at which point you find him. Besides the fact that it's just patently ridiculous, it's completely unnecessary. Like, it doesn't add anything to the story.
It's utterly unnecessary. God.
It's so goofy, and what's worse is it seems like the characters in the game know it. Like, there was like 3 or 4 different times people are like, why is this happening? What's going on? And then someone just says, shut up.
Yeah, they failed to address it entirely. And I mean, it's not as if they're trying to erase Alien 3 and like entirely from history or anything like that, because they talk about, at the very beginning of the game, again, they talk about the Sulaco last being seen over Fury 161, and I'm like, yeah, that's Alien 3. So clearly that happened.
Yeah, but don't they make like kind of a one-off comment that, how did they get back here? Shut up.
Yeah, and then what blows my mind about it further is that it invalidates almost everything that happens in Alien 3, where it's like, oh, okay, so Weyland-Yutani boards the Sulaco, snatches Hicks, and then
leaves Ripley for reasons unknown.
Yeah, just, hanging out. And they must obviously be aware, having, like, done a sweep of the ship, because you don't just wander into the only ship that's had, like, confirmed contact with the xenomorphs and be like, okay, we're going straight for the cryo bay, we're going to grab this one dude, and nobody look at anything else. They must obviously be aware that there was, like, fucking aliens on board. They must have been. They must know. So they were just like, oh, well, let's just take this one guy, leave the ship, fuck right off, and then later, when we, finger quotes, learn that there's an alien on Fury 161, I guess we'll take our sweet time.
I mean, in my review, I called it basically bad fan fiction, and that's. Would you disagree?
I would not disagree. It's terrible fan fiction. It seems like, you know, when I was 10, or I don't even fucking know how old I was when I saw Aliens. I was probably like 8 or 9. I think it came out in 1989. And like my dad was a huge fan, and my dad was awesome. You know, if he was a fan of something, it meant that I got to watch it. So like, you know, it was like, aliens? Hell yeah, come here, son, sit down. You know, and I was disappointed at the end. I was like, aw, you know, all these people gone. And then when I saw Alien 3 back in the 90s, I was like, what? No, not Hicks! But then, you know, you kind of got to deal with it.
Be a grown-up.
Yeah, you know, these things happen. And, I mean, it is like a horror suspense franchise. You know, people don't just, like, walk out of that thing all the time. So it was like, oh, okay, you know, perils of space travel, perils of aliens. He was a soldier, she was a child. These, like, that's fucked up, but these things happen, you know. It reminds me of what, like, a 12-year-old might have done if it was like, oh, well, can you write a better ending? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to dwell on it too long. We gave this game just an absolute thrashing last week. I don't know how much people are interested in hearing.
Thrashing.
But, I mean, it probably can't be overstated that the campaign is deplorable. It's probably immoral.
It is irredeemably bad. I just learned an interesting detail today, too, that's fucking hilarious. That the PC version, people have been tinkering around with the PC version because modding, yay! You know, like there's a DirectX 10 mod, like a lighting mod, and then one that, like, you know, touches up some textures and things like that. But some guy was funking around in the INI files and discovered that the coding in the game has a set of categories for graphics cards for PCs about.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Handle. And the most recent graphics card, like their top-of-the-line graphics card that they're like, yeah, this is the best of the best of the best, is from 2007.
Well, that's because that's when the game was starting to be made. That was the projected level of technology, I guess, they were preparing for, and then it got out of hand, and they never got around to making the game.
It is
2013 worthy.
Ridiculous that you take fucking like 6 years to make a game, and you don't even think to maybe update your graphics technology to be a little bit more current. Yeah.
I mean,
let's not dwell on it. I don't really want to speak much more about it because, yeah, as you said, we let this game die last week. We didn't let it die. We put it in its grave. We gave it a shovel, made it dig, and then put it down in the middle of the desert somewhere.
I will say one last thing about this whole debacle. It's not even about the game itself. It's just something that's really disheartening about working in the video game sphere, specifically video game, like, quote-unquote journalism, whatever. This is a hard fact I've had to learn, is that no matter how bad a game is, and make no mistake, Aliens Colonial Marines is deplorable, there are always people who are going to defend it. I've seen a lot of people, not the majority by any stretch, but I've seen people literally defend this game. Say, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, you guys are just too critical. Oh, you know.
Yeah, my friend, ex-Blizzard Thumbs contributor Micah Curtis, thinks it's great. I don't understand him.
Electronic Gaming Monthly gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yes.
Although that writer was mysteriously let go after that review was published.
Yes, mystery. He's probably wherever Leon is right now. The two of them are commiserating together about something.
I mean, if you enjoy something, you enjoy it. You shouldn't have to apologize for that. But it baffles me when, you know, hundreds of great games are out there waiting to be played, and you're going to settle for extracting the scant tiny little bits of fun out of basically shit. Like why not just play the great games? I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Moving along, to kind of like I haven't finished it yet, but I got to the twist because I needed to know. I may still finish it because honestly, like sometimes I get to a point in time where I'm just like, I just wanna see it end.
You gotta put it to bed.
Yeah. I need to lay it to rest. It needs to go down in all the like worst ways possible. But on the heels of Aliens Colonial Marines, I actually played another first-person shooter, sci-fi, kind of horror-esque, great atmosphere, good design, a legend in its time, and it's brilliant. It's a fantastic game.
You played System Shock 2, didn't you?
I played System Shock 2, because for those not in the know, System Shock 2 was released on Good Old Games this past week. It's been tied up in, like, legal... I can't even describe the clusterfuck that this thing has undergone over the years. It was like, Looking Glass Studios owned the trademark, owned the rights, but Electronic Arts owned the trademark. And then when Looking Glass Studios went under, the rights went to the insurance holder for Looking Glass Studios. And rather than auction off the material, like most of the time when studios go bankrupt, like what happened with THQ, these guys held on to these rights. Basically holding out for probably shared revenue deals or something that, for some reason, Electronic Arts was completely against or just not interested in pursuing. But I mean, this dropped out of fucking nowhere because it is the single most requested game on Good Old Games for them to have added to their library. And then some white knight of a dude that nobody's ever heard of comes riding out of nowhere saying that he went into business with the exclusive desire to acquire all the legal rights to System Shock 2 so it could be sold again. And he did it. And it was literally over the course of 3 days. People were like, rumor, maybe System Shock 2 is coming to Steam and Good Old Games. And then 2 days later, Good Old Games was like, yeah, System Shock 2. And it's like, when? And they're like, tomorrow! So...
I mean, it's great news, but it's interesting to me that that's all it took. Like, this could have happened so long ago. It just took someone with the drive to do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's like, what was everyone else waiting for?
The only conclusion I can come to is that every agreement that the rights and the trademark holders came to, they both wanted something ideal, and they were unwilling to compromise for the sake of the audience, for the sake of the fans. That's the only explanation for me.
I mean, wouldn't you rather take a compromise over nothing? I mean, you literally get nothing if it's not for sale.
Yeah, you would hope, It's
like the thing with Earthbound and Nintendo. It's like, remove the copyrighted music and put it out for sale, you dirtbags. Why don't you want our money?
I know. It's not like you need to even add music in. You don't need to, pay someone to conduct music. It's just okay, well, we know you want this. Take it out. Oh, so there's going to be a portion of this game that doesn't have any music. Okay. That's fine.
Or just use some of the tracks from a different part of the game. I don't care.
Yeah. But, I was initially speaking back to System Shock 2. I admit it, a little worried. It's been many years since I've had an opportunity to play it. Because basically getting it to run even on, Windows XP was a fucking chore. It was a pain in the ass and a half. I mean, this game did not like... new systems. It was engineered for Windows 95, Windows 98, and that was it. And the moment that I unfortunately upgraded to Vista, I basically said goodbye to System Shock 2 forever. With, the exception of it just being released recently. I'm running Windows 7 now, of course, because I'm not a total moron. But I was really, really worried that it wouldn't have aged well. I was worried that it wasn't going to be as good a game as I remember, because BioShock 1 and BioShock 2, while scratching that kind of itch of high concept first person shooters, along with like a couple other titles that we've seen recently, like the renewal of Deus Ex: Human Revolution, as well as more recently Dishonored. The high concept kind of RPG styled first person shooter has seen a resurgence, but I'm like, particularly when dealing with BioShock 1 and 2, I'm just like, it's not as good. It's not as good. And I know a lot of people are going to accuse me of snobbery for that, but I mean, there are some very distinct reasons why System Shock 2 stands out to me as being like that game. It's fantastic atmosphere, it's excellent level design. The levels are amazing. The depth of its RPG elements, like you start the game and you can essentially kind of pick a class, but that just gives you a leg up. It just says, okay, well, you're moving in this direction. It has no bearing on how you wind up playing the game for the rest of the game. So, you can start doing something and just be like, you know what, I don't really like this. I think I need to change my tack. And then you can, The voice acting's phenomenal for a game that came out, hang on, I'm grabbing my CD here, in 1999, my CD says, copyright 1999. The voice acting's phenomenal. I still can't get over the fucking level design. And of course, it's like modded to shit now. There are high polygon texture counts or high polygon models and like high res textures that you can mod into this thing. And it looks like a game that, after all the modding, that might have come out at the beginning of the Xbox 360 cycle, which is pretty good for a game that was released in 1999.
So how you're running it right now, you're saying?
Yeah, I'm running it in full fucking widescreen, like my high def. I don't run like full 1080p, I run 1050. It's just, like, oh no, I'm missing 30p. But it looks great. It still plays amazingly, and it's tense and it's compelling, and it's like managing your inventory and your stats and what you want to take with you, and yeah, I cannot spout off, third time I'm going to mention it, the level design. The level design is phenomenal. And the atmosphere and the villain. She's one of the greatest villains of all time. So if you hadn't gathered this by now, System Shock 2 is perennial. It's a milestone. It's a must-play. And it's available for $10 now on goodoldgames.com, and nothing is stopping you from going to get it and playing it. It's amazing, And you can go to moddb.com and look at mods for it. Like I said, there's a high polygon model mod that really upgrades all the NPCs. And then there's also a high res texture pack. It's fantastic. It's everything that I remember it being. I miss that game, because it has all the things that BioShock did, in that it's like a strange and hostile world, and depending on how you want to play it, there's a whole like collection of psychic powers that you can employ. So yeah, there's fantastic powers, but then there's also like hacking and currency systems and, the whole like audio recording, slow release of the plot kind of game that was, popularized by games like Fear and BioShock, Like it's got the blood of BioShock in it. Playing it now after having played BioShock 1 and 2. And I should clarify, I didn't really like BioShock 2 very much. I feel like it diluted the universe a lot more than it actually contributed to it.
Yeah, I just chime in for a second there. BioShock 2 is not technically broken in any way, but it's underwhelming to like absurd degrees personally.
Yeah, really looking forward to Infinite, but I felt like BioShock 2 weakened the lore of the BioShock universe. But System Shock 2 is like, it's like a badass granddad, Like it's like your girlfriend's like, oh, hey, yeah, we're gonna go for like Christmas Eve, and you've met her parents and you met her siblings. She's like, okay, well, my granddad's gonna be there, and like, and you're like, oh, okay, granddad, and then you like walk in the door, and there's this dude in a leather vest with this fucking like crazy hair and a giant beard and sunglasses, and he's like, who are you? And you're like, ah. It is like, it's seriously, it's like BioShock's badass dad. It's like, it's still got teeth. And the atmosphere is just, oh. I mean,
I like when you make like super esoteric comparisons as if we've all been there. Like everyone's listening is like, yeah, my girlfriend's crazy grandfather. Yep,
I know
I'm on the same page.
exactly what that's like when you're on a train in Eastern Europe and then somebody throws you in a burlap sack and then drops you on aliens, colonial marines. God, I know that feeling, man. But no, like it seriously, it did absolutely everything to wash the taste of colonial marines out of my mouth. And I gotta say this too, because this is not something that System Shock 2 is legendary for. But long after its release, there was kind of an official / unofficial patch. It's sort of like this hazy gray area in which Looking Glass Studios had closed down, but they had engineered this patch to add multiplayer to the game, cooperative multiplayer. And people are like, cooperative multiplayer in like a survival horror game? Oh, didn't that like ruin Resident Evil 5? Oh, isn't that like kind of, Dead Space 3? And I gotta tell you, it's not. It's one of the most dynamic multiplayer cooperative systems around because they really, really, really designed this game to limit your resources. And when you play the multiplayer, you're still collecting resources for one player.
Yeah.
So there are
See,
portions of this game where, like, only one of you has a gun. And it's like, I found bullets. Here. Stay in front of me. So, the multiplayer, the cooperative multiplayer in System Shock 2, I think, is criminally underrated. And it's unsung. Because it's still tense, and it's like, it's specialized as well, in the sense that, yeah, you have these, like, there's sort of like the Marines, the Navy, and something called the OSA, which are like, basically your Marines are, I like gun, me shoot gun, bullet go in head, blood come out, you die. And the Navy's more technical. Going the Navy path will give you, like, the ability to hack, have, like, cyber augmentations, to run, like, a software that can help you, like, research. Yeah, you can, like, research things. You'll find, like, pieces of anatomy or, like, artifacts, and then you have to, like, research them. And you can only research them if, like, your research skill is, like, good enough, And then it will be like, oh, you do, like, 25% more damage to psychic monkeys! I'm serious.
No, I know.
Yeah. And then, so, you can, when you play with co-op on, you can specialize. You can be like, okay, I'm going to be the hacking guy, I'm going to be the gun guy, I'm going to be the psychic guy. And then it's like, you get to a certain point in the game where, as, like, the hacking guy, the weapon, the only weapon you can wield is, like, a wrench and a pistol. And that's not good enough. So, you really pick your roles. And it just, it's such a good game. I love it. It's good. I also finished Sleeping Dogs. So, that's done. Go me.
Did you wake them?
There were no dogs to speak of.
None at all?
Oh, in the words of my Blistered Thumbs compatriot Yusuf Al-Shikr, I and this is like his words directly, I was expecting at least some kind of Labrador slumber party. No such luck. No such luck. So
it's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed with how linear the ending was. In the sense that, like, for the whole game they build up this whole, like, you're one of them. Ooh, is he a cop? Ah, he's a snitch. Hey, eat this broccoli. Why is it more soup?
No, I don't know.
I play
what?
piano with my toes, and then, the ending is just kind of like predetermined. They're just sort of like, and that's the way it ends. And I was like, aw. I was really hoping that there was going to be some kind of, like, choice. at the end, where it's like,
are you sure that maybe there are multiple endings and you just got the one determined by your actions up to that point and like locked you in?
Is that a thing? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm just saying maybe you got the one that's the path you were going on and it doesn't give you.
I'm gonna Google that. I'm gonna Google quickly Sleeping Dogs multiple endings just to no, it has one ending.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so I was half expecting there to be a moment where you're kind of like, throw the frisbee. I don't want to throw the frisbee. Throw the frisbee, and then it's like, do you throw the frisbee?
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, like, and because I was really looking forward to being a heartless dick.
You weren't gonna throw the frisbee?
I was really looking forward to being like, oh, guys, we've been through so much together, and from the bottom of my heart, I gotta let you know you're under arrest, so fuck you. I was really looking forward to that moment. That moment didn't come. I was upset. It was all like, oh, he proved loyal to me one way or the other.
That was slightly racist.
I'm sorry, but yeah, like, some of the accents are a bit much to take. I will say this, though, is that I got it in a pack with a couple of bits of DLC. The Zodiac tournament was hilarious. It was like, basically Enter the Dragon. Like, travel to this island, and then some dude with, like, these gloves on his hand is like, oh, you fight to the death! And then, yeah, you fight to the death. It's even got, like, that bad, like, 1970s exploitation, like, screen bad film filter effect on it.
That sounds pretty good.
It was hilarious. And then the other one, Nightmare at North Point, was like one of those like ultra bad Chinese horror movies, with like the zombies or the vampires that like hop.
Yeah, that's gonna really bother me. I know the name for that.
They're like Shang-Chi or something, or Jiangxi or.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Some mixture of soft syllables like that. Pardon me in my Caucasian brain for not being able to zero in on that specificity. Other languages has always been a weak of mine. But yeah, and so it was kind of like this B horror movie schlocky kind of, and I was like, this is really great. Like this game is putting its tongue in its cheek when, like, for the main part of the game, like, they're trying so hard to tell this, like, gritty story and be, like, ultra realistic and, conflict. And then they just kind of cut loose and had some fun. And I was actually really, it made me legitimately disappointed that more games don't actually do that.
That's always my favorite kind of DLC, like the Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare.
Yeah. Like,
it gives you something different. If you just want a little bit more of the same, it feels like maybe you should have just put that content in the game itself.
Yeah, absolutely. It really, I really liked the DLC. I really liked the game too. I mean, I was expecting, and I guess this is a little bit bratty of me because I don't like complaining about what a game doesn't have, because if we complain about what games don't have, then you sit down and play a Mario game and you're like, I'm really disappointed in the lack of character customization in this game, and that's just stupid, because that's not what it's supposed to be. I hate it when people sit down and they play platformers and they're like, this game is too linear. You're playing the wrong game, dude. So when I complain about, like what a game doesn't have, I'm always kind of like, hitting myself in the back of the head. But I felt like Sleeping Dogs was leading up to it. I felt like it was leading up to a choice, and it didn't happen. With the exception of that, I thought it was a great game. It was one of actually probably the most amusing open world game I played since like Just Cause 2.
Just Cause 2 is like stupid good.
It was, and I am so amazed that we haven't seen anything from Avalanche since.
I believe they recently tweeted like a grainy picture that some people think is from Just Cause 3.
Do you think?
That's what some people are saying. It's not confirmed.
Well, I mean, they're probably right. I mean, what else are they going to do? I mean, Just Cause 2 was like a runaway hit. What are they going to be like? Nah, we're done. I think that's more or less the games that I've been playing this week. What do you think, Leon? Not here.
Nintendo!
Yeah, no. Mega Man.
Oh, he's also playing Final Fantasy VI.
He is. I hope he's doing that right now. I want him to be happy. I so do.
Well, let's just say, for his part, that Final Fantasy VI is still good.
It's still probably the best Final Fantasy in the series.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yep.
So, thanks, Leon, for your contribution.
You the man, Leon.
We are idiots.
I miss you, my bro.
Oh, jeez.
Austin.
That's me.
That is you. I'm glad. Fact, because if you didn't, there would be some serious cognitive dissonance going on here. I understand that you have some very stellar things to say about a game you've been playing that involves a certain amount of not just vengeance, but vengeance.
Yeah, this was a great week for me after last week, because Colonial Marines just basically killed my will to live.
I'm glad the universe found a way to pay you back.
And then I finished Rayman Origins, which is just...
in, the universe, karma and, orchestrating things or something. But I feel good when people get what's coming to them, so you go on. Rayman Origins, you finished it, and then fucking Revengeance? Dude, you had a great week.
It was all the good games at this point. I think I'll probably leave the thing in the beginning of the recording where I talked about how, as we are doing this, embargo is still... in place for Revengeance, so I can't publish this until it goes up. But by the time you are hearing this, your ears are not violating anyone's contracts because I would not have published it by that time. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is fucking badass. It's so good. My reviews will be on site. You'll see it with your eye holes, and you'll see that it's a 9. But I really wanted to give it a 10. I had to have a heart-to-heart with myself and say it's not perfect. There's some issues with the camera, especially during one boss fight, where the boss teleports all around you, and it makes it much more difficult to do than I think it should be. But outside of that, what else could you ask for? I mean, it has the writing of a Kojima game with the action of a Platinum game. It's like the two best things possible, and they're in one game, and it all works.
That sounds like the dog's bollocks.
It's great. It's hard to talk about without spoiling because, like most Metal Gear games, there's a lot of plot. There are a lot of ideas thrown at you.
Can I just raise the issue that good on Hideo Kojima for actually managing to make Raiden cool?
That is such an underdog story too, because Raiden was like the most hated character for years.
He was the video game pariah.
Yeah, he was the poster boy for like unlikable whiny douche holes. And now he's...
Jack? No. Do you know what day it is? No. I'm kind of in the middle of something here.
Was it talking about King Kong or some shit?
I don't even know, man.
Here's the thing, though. When I was playing Revengeance, this thought occurred to me. Raiden is a better Dante than the Dante from the new Devil May Cry. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, giant monsters show up and he's like, whatever. Like, I don't give a shit. I will end you. Like, he has the attitude that Dante had in the old games, and the new Dante doesn't. Like, besides the cyborg thing, like, I feel like he fits in that universe better than the new Dante, which is funny to me because that's the other big action game that came out this year. And Revengeance fucking embarrasses Ninja Theory as far as I'm concerned. Just the scale of the boss fights, the stylishness of the action, everything. It's amazing.
Hey, Austin.
Uh-oh, I see it. Is Leon coming?
Oh, yeah.
It's Leon. I'm excited.
Yay!
I'm here. Hold on.
I came a little bit.
Were you in a yurt?
What?
Were you in a yurt?
I don't know what that means. Say that again.
A yurt.
Like a what? What does that mean?
They're dwellings. They're sort of like hut-ish dwellings, not hut-ish like Star Wars hut-ish. As is BT podcast tradition, we speculated wildly on where we thought you might be, and it was Austin's opinion that you had left Channel Awesome and decided to be a goat herder. And I suggested that you were, at this very moment, thinking upon us fondly, hopefully, while sitting in your yurt.
Well, it's not completely impossible. I mean, I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people have left or have been released from Channel Awesome in the past, I say, 12 months or so, that it's not too shocking that I would go, although I like it here. But it is shocking that I would decide to herd goats. I think that would be the part that's scary for me, because are goats the ones with horns, or I think rams?
I think rams are male goats.
Wait.
Or is that sheep?
I think goats are male goats.
Or rams are male sheep?
I believe so, yes.
I'm bad at livestock, I apologize.
That's okay. I don't expect you to be great at it. If I did, I think that would be unreal expectations laid upon your shoulder. It was my opinion, Leon, that you had a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing going on, and that at certain times of, like, night when the moon reflected on you, you became a sassy black woman who worked in a hair salon.
That would be awesome.
He's like, I have a new goal in life.
Right. I mean, you say like Dr. Jekyll and a Mr. Hyde thing, like, but which one would be worse? I mean, Hyde is definitely worse. But I think the better part of me would be the sassy black woman, and me being this sort of boring whatever the hell I am ethnically.
Well, I'm not suggesting that one of them is inherently worse than the other. I'm merely saying that you would have a transformative process that would probably have a dramatic sting as it began to happen. You'd be like, "It's happening." Dun, 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 something like that.
It better.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, we also said that perhaps you strained something, attempting a full Leon.
Well, you always stretch before that.
That's exactly what we said.
He knows.
I've actually seen that creep into other news posts. Like, I was like, here's a trailer for this new game, and someone's like, make sure you don't do a full Leon.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, I'm glad that's a thing now.
It should. I want to see it on the completely unrelated videos.
Everyone who's listening to this in about an hour. Well, by the time this goes up, it'll be there. But in about an hour from right now, when we're recording, the new Renegade cut is going to come up. And if someone wants to say he went full Leon this time, that would be great. Or some variant of.
That would be great. You should do it to someone who has no idea, just go all into their comments. I like to imagine that we could just troll. This is our platform for fucking with people.
I'm okay with this.
I think it's a noble goal in life, gentlemen.
I like I said, I'm terribly late and terribly sorry. There were things. How much did we go over already? Are we at the tail end of this or what?
No, we waited half an hour for you. So all we've done is Johnny said what he's playing, and I was talking about what I played.
Oh,
and
so
you came just in time too, because Austin wants to talk to you about something.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no.
Well, we're not done. Sorry, I think that Austin's currently regaling us with his experiences of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remind me to talk to Leon after, because I'm leaving that in the beginning of the cast, so people who are listening know what's coming, but let's just finish the Revengeance in case anybody was into that discussion first.
I'm sure some people were, It's not like it's an important title or anything.
It's only like the biggest release of the month. So yeah, it's fucking great.
Good.
The soundtrack, the graphics, it's almost like a more... I'm trying to think of a way to say this. It almost gives like a Shadow of the Colossus vibe in that there's only 8 levels, and each one it builds up to a boss fight. Each level is like you just going to kill this person, and there's some other encounters on the way there, just as in you drive your horse to the next Colossus. But it's about the fight, and
that's a pretty high caliber comparison there, Austin.
Yeah.
It's a title that inspires hyperbole by its very nature. As if you've played any Platinum games, you know it. Sometimes you just
or indeed any Hideo Kojima games.
They're not subtle.
No. I said this before to other people off the record, but I'm saying it now on the record. This game better spawn memes, because there is some funny ass shit in here, including several conversations about memes. Like, the characters, this has to be a thing. There's
oh my god, that's meta.
There's a part where he's like, "Your memes are a lie" or something. I don't remember the exact line, but they're discussing the concept of memetics, which is actually where we get the word meme. But they use the correct definition, not the internet definition of meme.
Yeah, yeah.
And I might write an article about this. We'll see. But
Good old Richard Dawkins.
Yes. The Selfish Gene or something like that was the book he wrote.
Well, he wrote a bunch of books.
The one where he coined the word
I believe
memetics.
that was The Selfish Gene. Or no. It might not have been The Selfish Gene. I've read The Selfish Gene.
You know what? Google. This is like the Google episode. Originating from the popularization of Richard Dawkins' 1976 book, The Selfish Gene.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, then I guess I don't remember that book as well as I think.
Slam dunk, bitches. So yeah, they talk about sociology in the cutscenes, and it is hilarious. And I can't wait for all the people on the internet to be confused why they use the word meme not as a reference to cat pictures, because it will be funny to me.
Yeah.
I'm curious about something. You say you really like Revengeance. I haven't read any reviews of it. How is it being accepted on internet, reviews, websites, and all that?
The embargo lifts in 5 hours.
Oh, we don't know yet. Okay.
There are no reviews on the internet.
Just
until
by
8 a.m.
the time this posts, it'll be okay to.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
My review is written and waiting to be published. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Sweet.
So I really enjoyed it, but it's like genuinely really funny. In addition to being super badass, and it just plays really well. The production values are top notch. I've been listening to the soundtrack like all week since Yusa sent it to me. It's just I love it to death.
What is the soundtrack like? I'm coming into this late. Sorry. What is the soundtrack like? I mean, what the style of music?
It's like alternative metal.
Okay.
You remember like I don't want to put too like much of a specific point on it, but if you remember like when Korn or Linkin Park were good.
I'm sorry.
Only kind of.
Korn and Linkin Park were never good.
Their first albums were good.
Their first albums were new.
Okay, fair.
Here's the thing. I want to just butt in here real quick. I've listened to radio stations in other states and never heard any Linkin Park. After moving back to Baltimore, like for the past 2 weeks, all I hear is Linkin Park, and I don't know why it's so super popular here, where in my place of birth. Now that I'm back, but I think Austin, the city where I used to live, and North Las Vegas, where I also lived, and even Selbyville, where I used to live, had the right idea and sort of rationed out the Linkin Park in small doses where you can kind of, say, so insecure, just for a second. And then you're like, okay, I sort of remember that song back when I was angry and in high school.
Yeah.
But not this much. It's obscene. Okay, go back to your thing. I'm just...
Well, quickly on Linkin Park, their new stuff sucks ass. Like, they're weird, like, soft rock now. But when they were, like, alternative new metal... they had some ideas, and it was interesting. This, if you're just listening to the soundtrack and you're not a fan of the genre, you won't like it, but the way it's implemented in the game, I think even not people who aren't fans of the music will enjoy the way it's used, because, like I said, everything leads up to the boss fights, and for the first half of the boss fight, it's instrumental. But as you start to whittle them down, the vocals kick in, and it gets you really hyped. You're like, oh shit, I'm about to win. And then you do the free slicing system, which lets you like actually guide the sword with the analog stick. So it all like builds to this final cut basically, and then you just fucking I had a different thing for each one. Like one boss I just fucking diced into tiny little cubes. One I just cut the arms off. One I cut the person in half. Like it's just like you make it your own, and it's so cool.
Okay.
That sounded like something a serial killer would say.
I'm excited because it's coming to PC.
It may not, though, Johnny. Keep up on the news, dog.
What? Did that not? Was that something that not? Oh, now I'm disappointed.
They were talking about it being for PS3, Xbox 360, and PC at one time, but they canceled the Japanese 360 version, and both PC versions are on kind of hold. Like, I don't know if has Kojima or Platinum ever made a PC game? I don't think so. I think it might be like From Software.
But we live in a day and age where, yes, From Software released Dark Souls to the PC because people asked politely.
Yeah. So it might be that kind of situation where they might release it eventually, but it might suck for the PC.
No, I can wait. I got an Xbox 360 controller here. I mean, like if you're talking about how it won't work with a mouse and keyboard, well, I mean, fuck it. There are solutions.
I'd be interested to see because I feel like it wouldn't work, but now I'm like having my hand on my mouse and I'm thinking maybe it would because you could just be the sword with the mouse.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, I cannot heap enough praise on this game. Already, I've been saying the short list for Game of the Year 2013 is already Ni no Kuni, Fire Emblem Awakening, Revengeance. Write those 3 in already. No matter what happens, I don't think we'll be seeing those slip below the top 10. It's good stuff, guys.
Okay. I'm kind of interested in playing it once I'm done my own backlog. I mean, I mentioned in previous podcasts that I want to play it just based on the name. But now that I hear it's good, I have very little excuse not to try it.
They never say the word Revengeance in it.
Oh, bullshit. Never mind, I'm not playing. No,
Is there actually Revengeance, though?
Yeah, yes and no. Something happens to Raiden at the beginning, and then he gets revenge, but like most of the time of the game, he's kind of denying that it's revenge. It's like all business to him, and he kind of struggles with how personal it is.
Yeah.
So there is.
Maybe
I don't want to spoil.
Maybe Revengeance is a different kind of revenge, and it's the kind where you deny that it is revenge.
I think they specifically said that they just thought it was cool. Like they just wanted a cool name.
I do think it's cool.
So I mean, from the studio that brought us Bayonetta, I don't. Naming is not they don't have a guy for that. They kind of just throw stuff at the wall. But I also talked about Rayman Origins. Can you guys think of a game that is better than Rayman Origins? Because I can't. Fuck.
I haven't played it.
Not in its genre, man.
Like, people cling to Mario so hard, but if you just look into your hearts, ask yourself honestly, does Mario have shit on Rayman Origins? Because I don't think so.
No, I don't believe he does.
I don't know, man. It's like, you know how everyone says Citizen Kane is the best movie, and everyone's like afraid to dethrone that?
It already has been, but okay.
I don't know. I feel like, really? Like, what are people saying is better than Citizen Kane? I feel like that's always the...
And this is dumb, because someone actually just asked me about this recently, because I'm some sort of film buff or something. It's dumb, but the AFI list where they ask a bunch of directors and critics what the best movie is, recently it's no longer Citizen Kane, which it has been for decades now. It's Vertigo. I could think there's plenty of movies that are in most ways better than those movies, but they have lasting power.
I think there's a difference between like influence, quality, and preference.
To me, it's all subjective. I'm far more interested in hearing someone's personal top 10 movies, because that's always more interesting to me than, a bunch of guys getting together in a room or by correspondence and saying, well, this one has better lighting,
Yeah, I mean, my favorite game of all time is Super Mario 64, but that game is flawed out the ass. It's not the best game by a long shot. It's just my favorite.
It's just really fun.
Yeah, it's just like it's a personal thing. But I'm saying, like, as objectively as possible, I don't think Mario is actually like the highest quality in his genre anymore. I don't think it's even close. Look at I don't know. Go back and play Super Mario World 3 or whatever and compare it to Rayman Origins. I think it's clear.
There's a Super Mario World 3?
Or whatever, I don't know. I get easily confused.
Okay.
What's the one that everyone really likes? The 3, wasn't it?
Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh, okay, yeah. I threw a world in there.
Okay.
Yeah, Super Mario World was the Super Nintendo one.
And Super Mario World 2 was Yoshi's Island, but there was no Super Mario World 3.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. Yoshi threw me off. I hate the naming system they have for the Mario game.
It's odd.
Next is going to be Mario Multiverse.
Everyone's saying it's going to be Mario Universe, because the Wii U Universe.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Letters.
Mind blown.
I wish I could take credit for that.
So, Austin, do you want to talk about...
Yes, so I got to send Leon the link, because he's not going to believe me if I just say it.
Okay.
Leon, how do you feel about dating simulators?
I played... Well, actually, no, I played 2. I played Katawa Socio, and I played another Zelda-based one.
I remember that episode of your show.
Yeah, that's that was an episode of my show, and that's the extent of it.
Okay.
I don't enjoy
How do you
it.
feel about Mega Man, though? How do you feel about Mega Man?
Well, you know how I feel about Mega Man. I get the feeling that this is going to be some sort of pornographic Mega Man game I'm clicking on here.
I wish it was, but it's not.
I only
love it. Live in love.
desperately, but
Holy crap.
For those listening, Leon just clicked the link and his soul has been shattered.
Inafune is making...
No, he's not. That's the thing. It's made by Idea Factory. It's not by Keiji Inafune, whose name I can't pronounce.
Wait. I don't understand. Who is doing this, and is it with his permission?
They are, because Idea Factory put him in Hyperdimension Neptunia, so they know him.
Yeah.
They are friends with him, presumably. But Idea Factory is publishing a Otome game starring Keiji Inafune's hypothetical niece and her to hook up with a bomb squad who is handling a terrorist situation at the Inafune theme park. Published by Axis, who is responsible for Arc System Works fighters of various shades and colors and the Zero Escape series. So
yeah, brush your teeth with that.
I don't know what to say about this what?
I broke Johnny when I told him about it.
Just to be clear, that's what's spelled W-U-T.
All right.
Like, what do you say to that? You're just like, what? Why? Like, what's the audience for this?
I don't know. I mean, it's just Japan, man.
They bring America. This is getting an English release.
Oh, cool. Good, I guess. Well, I don't know, man. You broke me too. I have nothing.
Double play.
Right. Well done.
I'm gonna have to use. I'm gonna link to it under the podcast for people who are listening to this game. But yeah, it just defies words. You see it. You see and then your brain in self-defense just starts shutting down. It's glorious. But would you play this, Leon, if you had a PSP?
Is Mega Man at all in it? I don't feel like it is.
I'm hoping that in the X-rated ending that obviously comes near the end, she refers to her new boyfriend as Mega Man.
First of all, Johnny, no. Second of all, usually Otome games don't have a lot of sexuality in them.
There's going to be loads in this one.
Okay.
I have declared it as law. It is written, so it shall be.
Capcom owns the Mega Man, so I don't think they would let Idea Factory use the trademark.
No, but you can use the word Mega and Man.
Just have them like separated by a lot of dots.
One of the dirtiest jokes I ever did on Heart of Gaming was I don't know the exact phrasing, but it was something along the lines of, "It's okay to be attracted to Roll from Mega Man even though she's 10 years old because she doesn't have a soul." That was really horrible.
So yeah. Leon, we actually already did your part. We said, "Hey Leon, what have you been playing? Final Fantasy VI? That's nice." And then we moved on.
You're wrong though. Because I didn't even play
Plot twist.
You didn't even play it?
I'm sorry. I've been terribly busy with various other things, and no, there's been no gaming at all this week. That's it.
You know what you haven't been doing? You haven't been getting Keiji Inafune's niece laid.
Well, it's on the to-do list now, but I guess I just don't know what to do with the story. I really don't. I feel like there's jokes there, and it's low-hanging fruit, and I still can't reach it.
I don't know. We've written ourselves into a corner here, and this is unscripted.
Well, maybe it's our destiny.
Do you wanna hit the news? I don't know if that counts as news. That's more of just a thing that happened in the world.
What, you mean news like Destiny?
That wasn't a transition.
No, you totally rolled over me though. So
I just threw you under the bus.
Up yours, man.
Leon, do you know about Destiny?
The concept of fate, or
Yes.
or something gaming. good.
The upcoming game planned by Bungie, creators of the Halo franchise, as well as esteemed Mac shooter Marathon.
Tell me.
He's so enthralled. He's like, oh, yay.
Well, all right. So Bungie Studios has announced their excuse me, their next project, which is titled Destiny. Now, there's not a lot really to see about Destiny. Mainly a bunch of concept art, essentially. You know, but they've been they've been mouthing off a bit, I think. It's fair to say. Now, those of you that follow my Twitter may have noticed it yesterday. That is Sunday. Excuse me. I wouldn't go so far as to say went after Bungie a little bit, but they've made some disparaging statements, I think, to the state of the first-person shooter, particularly on PC. And I'm going to go ahead and read Bungie co-founder Jason Jones's direct quotation that he said to, I think it was Destructoid. So, quote, "We did a bunch of ambitious things on Halo deliberately to reach out to people." Reach. Sorry, that wasn't part of the quote. Neither is this. But this next bit is. "We limited players to 2 weapons, we gave them recharging health, we automatically saved and restored the game. Almost heretical things to do in first-person shooters at the time. We made the game run without a mouse and keyboard. And now, nobody plays shooters the way they used to play them before Halo, because nobody wants to."
Why?
So the question here is, A, did Halo revolutionize the shooter as much as they think it did? And B, are people playing non-Halo style shooters?
The answer is no and yes.
What?
Would you like to elaborate?
I need more than that. I don't know. Because I don't know Halo at all.
All right, well, did Halo revolutionize the first-person shooter?
It revolutionized the console shooter.
Yeah.
It helped popularize that. I know that bit.
But it didn't really revolutionize the first-person shooter.
I mean, it spawned imitators, but the non-regenerating health and more than 2 weapons games are still out there.
Yeah, and they are still wildly popular. I mean, let's see here. Non-regenerating health. Max Payne 3 last year. I know that we have very dim feelings about it, but it was a very popular game.
The Resistance, Fall of Man, and Aliens Colonial Marines had semi-regenerating, where like you have segments of a health bar.
And a whole arsenal at your command, in at least Colonial Marines. One of my favorite first-person shooters, a term I shy away from when I'm describing it, though, Arma 2, couldn't be farther. Could not be farther. You know, free-to-play first-person shooter. Battlefield fucking 3, you know? Like, the way in which he describes how it revolutionized the shooters, the first-person shooter, were pretty much necessary augmentations to make the first-person shooter work on console.
They're compromises, not necessarily like, you know, innovation for like, it was not some kind of like stroke of genius.
No, I mean, you know, like aiming with the thumbsticks way back in the day, although people are getting much better at it now, considering that games allow you to do things like adjust your sensitivity now. It was sort of necessary because you'd run out into the open and you have a fixed turning speed. So, you know, we didn't have cover systems. We weren't gaming on widescreen. Everybody was still using CRT. The 2-weapon system, that was because they couldn't think of a way to make it so that you could, as you did back in the day, be like, press 5, oh, it's the rocket launcher. Press 3, it's the shotgun. Press 7, it's the plasma soup spoon. I think that's like the second time I've mentioned soup today.
So basically what you're trying to say is that Halo isn't all it thinks it is.
I am my opinions of Halo are you know, I don't want to say low because that makes it sound like I'm going to slag the game. I think that it was well made and the compromises they made, like the decisions they made in order to get the first-person shooter to work on the console were great. They were good ideas. But as a shooter, as a game, I felt it was largely undercooked.
I mean, I think I've made my opinion on Halo known before. I think the first one was pretty good in a campaign, and the rest are fun multiplayer experiences, but they never, like, knocked my socks off.
I didn't even like the campaign in the first one.
I think, really, I think when the flood showed up, shit got real for me, at least.
The problem that I had is that the levels were super repetitive, you know? The lore was undercooked. There was very little character in the game. None of the characters you had, like, any reason to like. Because there was no pathos. There was no humanizing. There was no, oh, hey, you know, like, this is a guy, and he wants this, and, you know, like, that's you, so let's you know, get together and be all right. It was just sort of like, shoot stuff. You're in a green suit. It's an alien.
So what about the second part of the statement?
Huh?
That I said, what about the second part of the statement that because of Halo, no one else plays PC shooters the way they used to, and everyone else is just so completely helpless now?
It's fucking ridiculous. Now, nobody is disputing the fact that in terms of buying power, the consoles are now, like, at the head of the pack. No one's disputing that. We've known this for years. We've known this for decades. Despite the fact that we don't have accurate sales statistics on digital distribution, and we have not had accurate sales statistics on digital distribution for the entire time it's been around, no one is debating the fact that when companies publish their fiscal reports, they say, we made this much money off of consoles, we made this much money off of PCs. And consoles are always at the forefront, and that's fine. You know, this is an age-old argument. I have heard this for years now. PC gaming is dying. That is essentially what he's saying. Nobody plays PC game shooters anymore with a mouse and a keyboard.
You're taking this really personally, Johnny.
But that is really, when we boil down the comments, that's what he's saying, is that nobody wants to play with a mouse and a keyboard anymore. Are you kidding? That's insane. Some of the most popular games on PC, like even free-to-play games, Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, Counter-Strike.
These games still get tens of thousands of people years. I'm talking years, not like 3 years. I'm talking like 7, 8, 9, 10 years after the fact. Counter-Strike is not a young game. It's not an upstart.
What do you think of what we actually seen of Destiny? Like, I think it's unfortunate for them that this comes after the debacle with Aliens Colonial Marines, because everyone's really skeptical of publishers showing us things now, because we all feel like we just got severely burned by basically outright lies, and now the Destiny event they just had was all hands off. It was all big talk. There was, you know what I'm saying? There was next to no gameplay footage. Do you think they're just blowing smoke?
Well, the first thing that we have to realize is that the grandstanding that they're doing in terms of Destiny is not as accurate as they seem to think it is. I honestly don't think Halo was that great a game. Was it important? Yes. Was it well made? Yes. Was it great? Not really. Not in the scope of shooters all over. Because if we're going to talk about how nobody wants to play shooters on the PC anymore, we're going to talk about shooters, period.
I mean, I think this might be like a controversial stance in like the greater gaming community, but I think you're not going to find any disagreement here.
Well, you know, I'm not necessarily looking for disagreement here, but I mean, you know, it needs to be said. I
also think it's funny because you remember when our Halo 4 review went up, we were like the lowest score on the internet,
and everybody was just trolling.
Well, yeah, everyone was like pretty mad at Yusuf for a while, but then a couple months later, 343, the people who made it, came out and said, "Yeah, we kind of fucked up. We'll do better next time." And I just think it's funny that we people are kind of just accept it now as truth that the game wasn't quite that good, even though everyone was like super excited about it before. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, the expectations were probably pretty high, so when they see a low score, they were shocked. But if it comes out later that some people were disappointed, it's going to seem a lot more reasonable in hindsight.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the Revengeance reviews because I think I said before you came on, Leon. I said compared to the new Devil May Cry, like it makes Ninja Theory's effort look like shit. And DMC got 9s across the board from fucking everybody but me. I gave it a 6. Okay. So I'm saying comparatively, I mean, are there people going to be giving Revengeance like a 12, or am I just off base here and they're not going to like it as much as I do? Because I mean, I'm going to stand by my opinion. I'm just curious to see how it compares to that other recent action game. Reviews are weird.
They are indeed. I mean, like, and in the end here, Bungie has not copped to releasing Destiny on PC. They haven't said it's not coming to PC, but
They said the confirmed consoles are Xbox 360 and PS3. Yeah. You can actually pre-order it at GameStop now for those. I think Ben Kuchera from the Penny Arcade report said that it makes sense to put it on PC and he wouldn't put it past them. But as far as official Bungie line goes, it's not planned for.
It really does. It really does make sense. I mean, the PC market has never been stronger than it is now. And I mean, the very idea that people seem to think that the PC market has gotten weaker is false. Just because consoles have become stronger does not mean that the PC playing audience, the dedicated PC playing audience, is weak sauce. We're not. What was it? I think there were like over 3 million copies of Battlefield 3 that sold. And oh yeah, I'm sorry. Like maybe Battlefield 3 sold like 4 million on consoles, but yeah, 3 million.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about the PC market at all. I think if anything, the consoles are on their way out.
I am seeing more, like as a dedicated PC gamer, I'm seeing more and more console-focused titles come to the PC. I mean, yeah, like we were talking about From Software earlier. Dark Souls came to the PC last year because people asked politely. Like these are I don't care where you come from. 3 million sales are not something to pish posh. And I'm if Bungie had brains, and I'm going to assume they had brains because they have the smarts to like. Make Halo, make a first-person shooter work like crazy in a market where they could just nobody else could break into it before. Like we're talking titans of industry. Doom releasing on like fucking the Nintendo 64 or whatever, like id Software couldn't figure it out. They couldn't break it, but Bungie did. I'm assuming they have the brains to say, maybe we should consider releasing this thing on PC. I'm not saying I'm super excited for it, but we'll see.
I mean, when it comes to first-person shooters that you have to have a persistent internet connection to play at all times, I know Leon's on board, so we don't even need to ask him.
Yeah, no, he's all over this shit. Also, I'm sorry, but who doesn't want to play with a mouse and keyboard? I know Taylor Hoyt has problems with it, but the man's a mutant.
He liked Resident Evil 6.
He's too handsome for humanity.
He should be dateable in that KJ Inafune game.
There we go. We should write them a letter and ask them to make Taylor Hoyt a secret dateable character.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine wanting to play with a mouse and keyboard. I when I set up, and I still haven't finished it yet. When I set up Street Fighter X Mega Man, and I found that the joystick that I plugged into the computer wasn't working with it, and I had to fool around with my keyboard to play it. I almost had a conniption fit because the very idea of playing a game with a keyboard just disgusts me. I eventually got it working, but that was a really revolting 5 minutes when I thought I was going to have to play the next Mega Man game without a proper joystick. I don't want this rectangle.
I understand. I'm not saying that the keyboard is like, the be-all, end-all for like every game that needs to be played. I've got an Xbox 360 controller. Like I play Rayman Origins with it plugged in because it's the only way to play a platformer.
If I may interject, I played Rayman Origins to completion with a keyboard,
Really?
I have no regrets, but I recognized while doing it that it was not the ideal situation.
Yeah, like there are certain means of control that are the best ways to play your game. I shudder to think what trying to play I don't know, Dance Central with a mouse and keyboard would be. That's stupid. It's counterintuitive, but
I think there's an iOS version of Dance Dance Revolution or something.
I don't even want to know. But I to talk about the first person shooter, very specifically the first person shooter, and be like, yeah, nobody wants to play this with a mouse and keyboard anymore. I don't know how far you have to have your head up your own ass to say something like that, not only in public but to a member of the press. I don't understand that. I do not understand that.
I looked it up. Yes, there is an iOS version of Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh,
conversation over.
Go to hell.
When you dance on your phone. I think I may have made that up and then had it confirmed. I don't know if I actually knew that before I said that. So, Leon, you missed the Twilight discussion.
What?
We were deciding. Okay, Johnny is Bella. Okay. Which one of us is the vampire and which one of us is the werewolf? Because obviously we are fighting over Johnny.
Austin, based on your avatar, you seem like a very hairy person.
Do I?
Whereas I am smooth and although not not entirely white, I am probably paler than you.
Do you sparkle in the sunlight, Leon?
My wife wears sort of some sort of I don't know, girl products that have
a body glitter.
Or something that has little tiny sparkles in it, and sometimes sparkles get on me. So I actually do. So I feel like with those things in mind, I'm definitely Edward. Also, by the way, in the love triangle, as I understand it, Edward wins, and I don't want to be the loser in this. And by the way, Austin, if you're the werewolf, you are attracted to a baby. So I feel like the safe bet is for me to be Edward, and because I want to win Johnny too. I want to win his heart.
I want to argue with you, but you made a really compelling case for me being a sick fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, my criteria was way different. You went right for the jugular there, Leon. That was masterful. Thank you.
I don't mean to be a dick about it, but yeah, I'm totally Edward.
So yeah, before we had this conversation, Johnny was of the opinion that you spend most of your time shirtless, and that makes you the one guy. So
I don't like people looking at my body at all. So no, I don't do that even in the slightest. Also, there's no six pack here.
I'm gonna go ahead and betray an opinion right here. I've seen the first 3 Twilight movies. Mainly because I wanted to understand what the fuck was going on in terms of what was behind this cultural juggernaut phenomenon. And I don't know if either of you guys have seen it, but at the end of the second movie, Edward devises a plan to kill himself, and it's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I've seen them through riff tracks, but refresh my memory. What does he do?
He's in Italy, and he's planning to bare-ass naked walk out into the street in the middle of the day during this street festival, right?
Yeah. So
that the sun will shine on him. He'll be all sparkly, and then people will be like, "Oh my god, a vampire." And then, the Vampire Council will be forced to kill him for revealing their existence to mortals.
Dude, just stake yourself.
Now,
the end.
My problem with this is that you're walking out onto a street in the middle of a festival in Italy. So
are you trying to say if Italians are sparkly? Is that what you're going to say?
No. So that the sun shines on you and you get sparkly, and you're assuming their reaction is going to be, "Oh my god, vampires," as opposed to, "Whoa, that gay dude is wearing a lot of body glitter."
Also, in the Twilight universe, I have to feel like the average person still believes what we think of vampires as not sparkly things. So I don't think even in the Twilight universe, the general populace associates day sparkles with vampires. So I don't think that's a giveaway. You got to show your teeth at that point.
Yeah.
So I think, I agree. That's stupid.
I still don't get it.
We don't have to. What the thing is, here's the thing about
you have
Twilight.
chromosomes. Is that it?
I think no, that's partly it. But we may be the wrong age group. We may be the wrong gender. We may have the wrong mindset. When people say, say to people who genuinely love Twilight, how can you love that garbage? You have to bear in mind that we aren't the target demographic for that. And whether it's good or not, and I sort of argue that it's probably not, we aren't going to see it the same way as the target. Just like someone who likes Twilight might not like some of the stuff I like. So that's why although I may judge Twilight as a concept, I really can't judge the audience. It's just the stuff that they like, and I like a lot of weird, maybe stupid stuff too.
I think that's fair. I will say I tried to give Twilight a chance. Like, I flipped through the first book, and the writing was so bad that
I've only read like 3 pages. Stephenie Meyer writes like a grade schooler.
Like, I don't want to say stuff about the woman herself. She might be a lovely person for all I know.
A grade schooler who speaks English as a second language.
Yeah, basically. Like, I was prepared to give it a chance, and I just couldn't.
His body was warm. It was really warm. It felt warm against me. His body, I mean. I liked his body because it was warm.
Maybe it was just stream of consciousness.
Maybe it was cold, except for the warmth of his body, which, by the way, if you didn't know, was warm against mine. My body, that is.
I like to think that it's all an homage to the Benji section from The Sound and the Fury, like the whole time. The whole time.
It could just be that Stephenie Meyer is like the greatest Faulknerian scholar that's ever existed.
All right, hold on, I'll be right back, guys. I gotta mute.
Okay. What's up, Johnny?
Yeah, Leon.
It's just you and me.
I know. How you doing? Huh?
Pretty good.
That's good.
Do you want to feel all warm against my body? Like really
Always.
warm.
Really warm.
Like warm, just the warmest, like a cozy coat that's warm.
That's warm against my, which is not warm, which is why I need warmth of the warming of your warm body.
You need some sort of warming system, and I believe that would be me because I'm warm.
Romance.
Did I miss the romance?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about how warm we are.
It was really warm. It was almost hot.
It was like the most tepid thing we could possibly say to each other. Okay, go back to your thing. I don't know.
All right. Well, I think we're about done here.
I'm fully done.
Okay. You want to wrap it up, Johnny?
Oh, before we go, Leon, one question needs to be answered.
Yeah. Fuck you, Johnny.
Is macaroni salad really salad?
I feel like it's good. If it's good, then it sort of transcends language, and we can call it whatever it wants.
Interesting.
I don't want to get too much into like transformational grammar here, because I feel like I'd go down. It'd be like a long rabbit hole to go down. But the English language, since it has no like ruling council, changes, but not out of. It's almost changes almost democratically at this point. So we've decided that some things are just some things.
So wait, if the macaroni salad was not good, it would cease to be salad?
I feel like you would call it like expletives.
It's
like, what is this shit? No one eats macaroni salad and says this is bad macaroni salad. They're just upset because the mayonnaise or something went bad.
Damn it! You brought the mayonnaise back into it.
Mayonnaise, you say?
I don't know. Is there? I don't know. I can't cook. I microwave things.
I don't think you need to cook macaroni salad. I mean, you need to boil macaroni.
Yeah, you have to prepare something.
But then it's just like mayonnaise.
I'm gonna have to listen to the fucking mayonnaise conversation twice when I edited this, because once at the beginning and once at the end.
I'm not sure what the hell that noise was. I apologize for that right away. I must be transforming a little early tonight.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for showing up, Leon.
Yeah. Sorry about the delay, but I guess I did sort of make it. I'll try to be on time next week, and bye.
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 Mayonnaise. He totally would bring it back to mayonnaise.
Oh, it tied together in the end.